Coach, your takeaways from a pretty dominant 16-1 victory today?
Their starter has been one of the best guys in the country, ERA-wise, and I thought that one of the most critical at-bats of the game was Gavin Grant when he made an adjustment. He was having his way with us early a little bit with his changeup, and Gavin Grant was able to stay back on a ball and put a good swing on a ball, and I thought that was really might have been the at-bat of the day. There were very good at-bats throughout the lineup. I think Coach Mark did a nice job preparing the team, and obviously they came out swinging.
Tanner Smith set the all-time Oregon hits record today. It seemed like he was seeing the ball well all day. I think all 4 of his at-bats, he hit the ball well. Just how special was that for him and for the team today?
Well, you'd have to ask Tanner. I mean, that's a lot of credit to a lot of teammates and a lot of coaches and people that invested hours and time. And Tanner, the guy's a grinder. He's the last guy out of the weight room before the game today. He's not a guy that said, well, it's game day, I'm not lifting, or I'll be too tired for the game if I go in there and I lift weights. He actually was the guy that I think he set a personal best in the weight room today, and he was a guy that was in there last guy out. And so for a guy like that to be rewarded with an all-time hits record, that goes to a lot of people that have worked with him and helped him through the years, and a lot of teammates that have helped him out as well. And he's just a great kid. I'm happy for him.
Can you talk a little bit about Gabe Matthews too, the guy he passed? It feels like there's similarity between two guys like that. That consistency that I think means a lot to the program.
A lot. Gabe Matthews we were just at his wedding a couple of months ago, and he's a really neat kid as well. And so for Tanner to pass Gabe, I'm sure Gabe, you never want to lose a record, but when you do to a guy that's a worker and a grinder, then I'm sure Gabe is more than happy to kind of pass the torch to Tanner.
Obviously a lot of home runs today, but the suicide squeeze as well, the execution in the short game. Can you take fans through that play and how you executed a play like that?
Riku's up, and we just had an opportunity. We felt like to be able we needed to score another run. We felt like that was an important run for us to score, and Riku's really good with, handling the bat. He does a lot of things well. I don't think we've ever asked him to squeeze yet, but he did that today, and he did it very well.
Sabine Ceballos, 2 3-run homers today. It seems like he's been a pretty consistent force in your lineup all year and played good defense at third. Just what's your impression been of his game?
And a better kid, yeah. Just such an enjoyable person to be around. He shows up to the field every day, and he just, to be honest with you, he probably has more pride in just spending the time with his teammates and enjoying their successes more than him getting 6 RBIs and 2 home runs. He's that much of a fountain of energy, and he's just a fun guy to be around. I would take 1 million more Puerto Rican players if they were like Sabine Ceballos. He's that neat of a kid.
Dominic Hellman today, too. I know you've talked about how he can hit the ball over the light towers, but today he finally gets one in a game. How cool is that to see?
Well, it's really cool, and then for him to sprint around the bases, and, he's a very talented player, as you can tell, and he's been, this is the first time he's been healthy all year since the fall. He'd been hurt throughout the entire first portion of the season, and he's only been healthy now for a little bit over, I guess it's been 2 weeks now that he's been healthy. And so the one thing that he hasn't done is seen a lot of pitches in games, and so we've been trying to get him game-like pitches as best we can, but you see the kid's talent. I mean, he misses balls, and he can hit them literally over the lights when he misses them. And we've never had a player who has power like that ever. I've never had a player I think I've been doing this almost, a long time. I won't age myself that much, but I've been doing this a long time. I've never seen a guy with power like him. The guy closest to him was a guy that I saw at an area code workout one time named Mike Stanton. So,
what would you see from Stoffel today?
Pitched very well. There were a couple of things that got away from him. He was a little disappointed in himself. Early in the game, there was one particular pitch that I know he felt like he backed off on instead of attacking on the pitch that he wanted to, and I think that stuck with him. Bottom line was he was out there and he was in command of the game. He was in command of the baseball. He was a competitor. He gave us a Friday night start that was a quality start, and that's all we ask of Jace. Tough kid, really good guy to have rolling out there, and us getting him going I think is critical.
And then in the bullpen, you had 3 young pitchers go the rest of the way with a big lead. 2 of them got out of jams there. What did you see from those guys?
Well, just like what everybody else saw from them. They've got ability and they got a lot of talent, but it's just a matter of, they're now pitching in college. It's no longer high school, and there's a growth process that all these guys, doesn't matter if it's a position player or a pitcher, they all have to go through it. Sometimes it's not as it's easy to sit up in the stands and say, hey, it'd be a lot easier than you're making it look, and it's just not. It's a hard game, and those guys will be very good Ducks as we go forward, and I was excited to get those guys in the game today and have them taste some success.
You guys have scored 43 runs in your last 3 games now. I think it's safe to say the offense is finally clicking the way
No,
you want.
don't jinx us. We don't need that. We don't need that right now. We just need to continue some good positive momentum and one AB at a time, not the big swings.